and thank you for joining me today. I would like to go over some tips that might be helpful to you and your students as we approach the beginning of our school year. And many times I know that I have had parents ask me, how is it that I can instill some love for reading to my student? Now, love for reading starts at home. And while at school they learn to read, at the beginning of their years in school, pre-K, kinder, first grade, they're learning to read. And further on, second, third, and on, they are reading to learn. And we must keep that always in mind. How do we have them enjoy reading, not just to learn, but also to entertain? And one of the biggest things that I always like to recommend is that we do that with them at home. Our participation in the love of reading and showing our children, our students, that it is a beautiful thing to share in together is number one. That's key to set the example because they are willing to follow what we do. So, one of the things that I love to always integrate into families asking something like this is to recommend that you do something called Dear Time. This is something that we do also in class, but is easily done at home as well. Dear Time, DEAR, stands for drop everything and read, meaning we turn everything off, we leave the devices aside, and everyone in the family finds a comfortable spot. We're all together, at least starting with 20 to 30 minutes. We have a timer, and we come together with like our favorite pillows or our blankets, just a comfortable spot where we can read, and we have the books that we want to read there. This is a perfect way and a perfect time for us parents to also put in a read, because many times we find ourselves not having enough time to read our favorite book or that book that a friend recommended that we just have not had the time to sit down because of everything that the daily life throws at us. So this is also a really good time for us to catch up on those reads that we've been wanting to do. So while sometimes our students' books may not be as long, you can have them also have like a little pile of maybe 3 books that you know they will be able to go through in 30 minutes. Many times when we have little ones that have not started to read, they can go on with something that we call a picture walk, illustration walk. And so as we know that they are not reading the words per se until we do that for them, we want them to be able to feel the empowerment of holding a book, to having a book that is interesting to them. So make sure that they have that power in their hands to make the choice. There's nothing better than to giving them that leadership into participating and also deciding what they want to read. And so giving them that also can empower them to want to read and have the choice to know what they want to look into. Of course, during Dear Time, if you have a little one that's 2 or 3 or that's learning how to read, you can read with them. Dear Time can also be in pairs. It can be modified in many different ways, however you and your family need. But that is a start. That is a way where we can actually have that family time, and that it's something that we participate in at home, making it something normal and in a routine. Even if we start just the weekends, we start maybe a couple times a week, it's going to be something that later on they're going to embrace and find the joy in reading and having that time with all of us. And again, parents, take advantage of this time so that you too can also enjoy what we sometimes may not be able and have time to do. Another thing that I always like to encourage is that you read to each other. So have your student pick a book and take turns. Maybe they read a chapter, you read a chapter or a page. Even if when the little one that doesn't read wants to participate in reading and they make up their own words, it is okay for them to express and to expand in their imagination of what they see through the book. So one of the ways that we kind of go ahead and also invite them to do this is by the picture walk that I had told you earlier. Many times that also gives our students a way of being able to look ahead and kind of start making those connections into what might be about to happen or what they're about to read. So many times we want to kick off our reading with going through with those picture walks and then closing the book a little bit and asking them, what do you think is going to happen? Go ahead and have them do the talking by asking them questions. Let them tell you what they think is going on, what each character may seem to be for them. Are they a good character? Are they a bad character? Does it look like the characters are having problems? Are they going to have a happy ending? Many times that can start a conversation prior to reading into the words of the book. So let them tell you their feelings, their thoughts. Big time, that it is big for students to be able to express themselves and share what they believe, what is their opinion about what's going to happen in these books. As you read, make sure also that you stop to have these conversations just like you do with the picture walks. Make sure that you stop, and as you see a point in the book where you could infer, meaning predict what could happen next, ask them what they think is going to happen next based on the things that we know. This really instills a lot of paying attention but also internalizing the information that's been presented to them. And so this makes it possible for them to not just listen to words but also put it all together and put an understanding of what is being read and what's going on in the beginning, middle, and end. How many of these things that they will be hearing in school, they will be prepared because they are able to internalize what they're reading and pretty much digest everything that they've been listening and reading themselves, whether it's you read to them or they read to you or they read by themselves. You can kind of make it a game and let them kind of pick either with a dice or have a chart where they can pick. Do you want me to read to you? Would you like to have a partner read where you read and then I read? Or would you like to read to me? Now, a lot of times I know that life is busy and it can lead to not being able to do all these things, but give it a try. Like I said, start with a dear time where everyone can just kind of sit down, and for 30 minutes, 20 minutes of your time, everyone has just that quiet time where they kind of embrace their friend, their book. Make sure that you make learning and reading, especially literature, a positive thing, not so much a negative thing. Many times we have parents or, that could say, the student is not behaving at home, so you go to your corner and read something. So that puts a very negative feeling towards reading. We want to make it a positive thing. And remember that as parents and guardians, we're the ones that always kind of pretty much sell this idea however it is that we want to do it. And just the way that we teach them to learn and love all those things that we expose them to, let's also teach them to love to read for pleasure and not just for fun or because they have to. I hope these tips helped you today, and I look forward to seeing you again.